started. And then if you want to sit down at some point, then
No, if you want to sit down, your head's cut off.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna stay standing.
Yeah, we'll change the camera.
We'll change the camera.
All right. Oh,
Welcome to the Cissy Boys podcast.
Sit down.
hi. Down here is me, Matt LeGrand.
What do you want from this?
Who are you?
I'm Cooper Lyden.
Thank you, Cooper. I'm Dan Donahue.
Oh, for those who can't,
Sit down.
for those who are only listening, Dan is standing up, and he's probably 4 feet higher, 5 feet
I feel
higher
great.
than
This is like a
Cooper and
kid
I.
at a restaurant in the booth where it's like, honey, just eat the chicken tenders.
Oh, you mean like when I was at my most happy? When I was the happiest and most self-actualized?
Were you a stand in the booth and stare at other parties kind of kid?
No. I would ask the waitresses weird questions, though.
Hey,
Like
is
what?
your left nipple bigger
that
than
we're,
your right?
I hate that we're actually starting to talk, but
Yeah.
fine. Okay.
We're doing this the whole episode.
What would you ask the
I would ask them if they were happy.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I swear to God.
how old?
Young, like 5 or 6.
Stop.
I swear to God. I would be like, are you happy? Like, do you like your job? Are you happy? And my parents would be like, don't ask them that question. They're like, the answer is no, don't ask
What
that
would they say?
question.
Would they just be like, ha?
Yeah, no, they'd be like, yeah.
It's a kid like wise beyond their years. That's like a child in a movie where it's like they see through the bullshit.
I mean, it's an incredibly rude question to ask.
Well, it's also funny because you're 5, but then the person you're talking to could easily just be like 17.
Oh, yeah,
And
of
they're-
course.
and they're
Yeah.
just like, oh man, like I don't know.
Yeah, that
Like,
probably hurt. No, I mean, they definitely were. I was at like Friendlies, which is. Have you ever been to a Friendlies?
for some reason, I imagined you being at Friendlies.
That's funny.
It is.
Are there Friendlies in California?
No,
I think it's an East Coast thing.
I don't
Yeah.
think so. This is like a family, like a Chili's
It's
situation.
It's weird. Kind of, yeah. You can
Yeah.
get chicken tenders there and
It
stuff.
is like a Chili's, I guess, but it's known for their ice cream. It's a
Right.
very like it's where you go for your 10th birthday party.
Yeah, and I did.
I think my sister did.
I had a lot of root beer there. I think Friendlies is what made me fat as a kid.
You were a fat kid.
Oh, yeah. I was never like incredible. No. Why did you high five over that?
Because we're body positive.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
fat as a kid. It was nice.
But now you're so confident,
Well, yeah, now I'm tall.
you can't stop standing.
Yeah.
I just feel good about being tall.
How tall are you?
I mean, I haven't measured myself in a while, but I would say like 6'2", 6'3".
No,
What do you mean?
I think you're
would say
5'10".
I would say 7'11".
Oh, right now I'm 7'11". Yeah, right now I am probably 7'11".
No, my ceilings are probably yeah, at least, right?
8 feet tall.
At least. Usually most ceilings are 10 feet, right?
No, this is not a 10-foot ceiling.
Ouch. My least favorite part about this apartment is that the ceilings are not high. I love high ceilings.
Are a little bit low.
This would be a weird place to have high ceilings.
No, it'd be awesome.
Just like right off Virgil, but
Actually,
super high
my
ceilings.
biggest complaint, in an ideal world, well, I'd have a lot of more money, but this apartment would be on the 2nd floor. Does that make sense? So like you can
Yeah.
see over instead
Yeah,
of being
that would be
right
cool.
on the street.
Totally.
With
Can
high
you
ceilings.
sit? Can you sit down?
Cooper, why do you have a problem?
It's so my brain can't. I feel like
I was fat as a kid.
I feel like I'm
Can you appreciate that?
We just spent a whole episode training you on how to let go of minute issues
Yeah,
and
the
just
first-
laugh about them.
You know what? The first episode was how to let go, and this episode is going to have to be how to let God.
This is a different
Exactly.
kind of situation, though. This isn't like someone being rude to you. This is just you refusing to sit down.
Matt, can you look at me and appreciate that I feel self-actualized?
Is this what you need?
Dan is 5'10", but he identifies as 7'11".
I'm 7-Eleven. Like my favorite restaurant.
Yeah, really good taquitos.
It's true.
It's true. Cooper, what's your favorite movie? Dan's is The Wrestler and mine's Black Swan.
I really like Harold and Maude. I really love Elaine May movies, but I think my favorite movie of all time is probably The Blues Brothers, if I'm being completely honest.
John Belushi.
Oh, yeah, that's a great
because
movie.
it's a movie that they had such success from the sketches on the show that they were given so much fucking money
Yeah.
to make a comedy movie. So they destroyed like over like 150 cop cars, and they were able to rent out like the busiest center, like the epicenter of Chicago.
Yeah.
Just to have like, have you seen the last scene where like the cops, the
I have
National
not
Guard?
seen the movie in 20 years.
Yeah, it's such a good like. at
the best
the
movie
end they
ever.
have like literally maybe even close to like 700 extras.
Yeah.
Just so they can like rush into a building
For
and,
almost
like,
no reason, for a bit that exists only because it's funny, that there's that much money spent on it. Essentially,
it's like the
That's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the like
I definitely
realizing
didn't appreciate that as a kid.
Yeah, realizing how much like a crash can be funny. Like one of the funniest scenes ever is the Blues Brothers are being chased by a band whose gig they stole because they pretended to be that band. They're being chased down the road by that band, and then they pass a billboard, and hiding behind that billboard is a cop, and they're like, and the cops had chased the Blues Brothers before, so they're like, that's those fuckers. I'm gonna get those fuckers. And then they peel out from behind the billboard, and right as they do that, this RV that the band chasing them is driving just fucking smashes into them like hard as fuck because they're like, we're gonna go get them. And then it's just immediately like a horrible accident.
Yeah.
Also, just the fact that like there's not a lot of movies now that are like serious and in the real world, but also like the characters can't die. Like they
Right.
get blown up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like
that is very fun.
they're in like a photo booth. They're in a photo booth, and then John Belushi's like ex-fiance is trying to kill them. So she like shoots a rocket, like she shoots a bazooka at them, and then the phone booth
lit.
flies 60 feet into the air and then crashes down, and then they just get up.
Can you imagine how much fun, like back in that time, how much fun it must have been to just be in a movie?
Dude, and like filming the scene where they're finally doing the big show that's a
Yeah.
packed auditorium.
Yeah.
Also, that's hilarious because it's like the entire thing is them promoting this huge show, and then they're like an hour late to it, and they go up, perform 2 songs, and then promptly leave.
Yeah, they have Cab Calloway in that movie. You know that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the best musicals ever because the music is great. Fucking John Lee Hooker is in it.
Yeah, John Lee
And
Hooker.
then the entire band members. I wish I could remember. all
Was
their
it an
names.
SNL sketch?
Yeah, that's how it started. Like Matt Guitar Murphy's in it. He's a fucking great player, and like so many extremely famous people are in it. There's that one cameo by the beautiful woman at the gas
Renee
station.
Zellweger.
No.
She in it?
Yeah.
No.
No, she was in it.
No,
no,
she's
no, no.
not. There's no way Renee Zellweger.
Fucking James Brown is
Angelina
in
Jolie.
it. Like
Shut up.
Angelina Jolie is not in the
It's
Blues
so
Brothers.
random that you mentioned the Blues Brothers.
The third Blues Brother.
because I have blue balls. No, I'm just kidding. Because
Oh, you're horny right now?
I
Dan?
haven't come in like 5 or 6 days, but
What?
I wasn't gonna talk about that.
Whoa.
Wait, no, we have to talk about that. You
Yeah, I
haven't
come
in
like
6
twice
days?
a day. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were really meandering around that Blues Brothers thing, but now we got our teeth into something.
Yeah. Now
Yeah, we were really not doing well with that Blues Brothers thing, but now you haven't come in 6 days?
Yeah, I've been doing this thing where I am not coming.
Does it feel good?
I'm not jerking off or having sex.
People talk about how they have
Well,
like more
that's not his
energy.
question. Does it feel good to not be coming?
Did I tell you that like
You're not answering the question.
does it I guess I don't know, I guess I just haven't been feeling as
Horny?
horny, and also like I'd rather wait till like I have like a fun partner to have to come with.
And is this also a load thing?
That's the thing. I told you about how I
Sure.
didn't come for a week the last time, right?
Sure.
So I'm probably going to have sex with that same person tonight, and it's been like a long time.
Sure.
So I hate that I'm talking about this.
Why?
but I don't know. It seems weird that I'm like,
You talk about sex a lot, openly.
okay, but yeah, I'm probably gonna shoot a fat load.
Where are you
Yeah,
gonna
that's
shoot
fair.
it?
It's the
Hey, stop asking so many
it's
questions.
the big debate where it's like.
No. You can stand, but you cannot kick me
What
in
do
the
you
ribs.
mean? No, that's like my way of putting my hand on your shoulder.
No, I don't want. I have
The
sunburn.
kicking was a little disrespectful.
What do you mean?
Yeah, don't disrespect
Wait,
me.
can I try it again?
Dan
No, you
is
can't do it
tall
again.
right now, and he kicked Cooper.
I didn't kick
But
him
it was
that
his
hard.
way of nudging, like with his.
Yeah,
hand.
it's my way of being like, hey, buddy.
Well, it's
Why is that a crazy question?
Well,
Where is he
Cooper,
gonna
you have
come?
short privilege right now because
Yeah,
Dan doesn't
SP.
know what it's like to be down there.
Damn, that is
so like
so
you just have to.
true.
You're being ableist by not letting him kick you.
That's a lot of cum to hold.
The
in.
reason I brought up John Belushi is or Blues Brothers is because
Cooper brought it up, but go on.
the reason I say it's random that you're talking about that is because I was literally looking up that movie last night, but because I remember that one of my first like sexual awakening, like where I was like, damn, this is crazy hot, I don't know what to do with this energy, was reading this book in Barnes and Noble called According to Jim. and it was Jim Belushi's autobiography.
Yeah.
Wow.
And in that book, he talks about being on set with this really hot actress, and they were having sex 9 or 10 times a day.
Whoa.
And I found him to be incredibly sexy.
Jim Belushi.
And then I
like,
just went
grows
on a
weed
deep
now.
dive of Jim Belushi. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He moved to Wyoming, I think,
Yeah,
and is just like growing weed.
Wait, he
and
died?
skinny
What are you
dip.
talking about?
John Belushi died. Jim
John.
Belushi is his
Oh,
younger brother.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Jim is alive. He goes skinny dipping in rivers. He's growing weed.
Nice.
And but John Belushi, I just went on a deep dive. I weirdly hadn't made the connection that Jim Belushi was John Belushi's younger brother.
So funny.
Interesting.
So funny.
Jim's a lot better looking.
Interesting.
And also, did you know that they're Albanian?
No. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
I thought
makes-
they were
that-
Italian.
No.
Belushi.
Doesn't like they look like they could totally be
They
Italian.
look like
Yeah.
the Italian.
Yeah.
Also, Jim is uncut.
Oh, did he mention that?
No, I was Googling pictures.
Oh, are there pictures?
There
of
was
the
a
penis?
real one of him. There were obviously the fake ones where it's it was
Oh, I love those.
it's like a porn, and it's like his face photoshopped and then his wife from According to Jim photoshopped onto the girl.
I love.
And then there
that.
was one where it's like his like funny best friend in According to Jim.
Yeah.
Who is beating off to that?
Matt.
I'm raising my
You
hand.
to deep fakes? Or I guess those are pretty shallow.
I used to have a
fakes.
crush on Andy Cohen until I learned he's only into like 17-year-olds. But I would look up porn of him, and it would just be like his face photoshopped onto these hot guys, and he would have like a massive cock.
I think that's some of the funniest shit when they do
It
that
is
with like
so
when they do that with like
funny.
Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
And then it's just like a woman with like the largest
Oh,
tits in
shit.
the world.
Dan's coming down.
Is this a transition?
Well, I thought I'd just try this out now.
It's nice to get a little workout.
I
while you're up
really
here.
just love a butt on the seat, Dan. If
Why
could
can't
just-
you let me feel
If you could, but this is progress.
good?
Yeah, this is progress. It's baby steps.
Ultimate man spreading.
No, but there's no one
face.
to the side of me.
Also, I do want to say, anytime I've done something that doesn't translate to audio, I feel like I get dragged through the mud for it. This does not translate to audio.
Well, people know I'm standing and sitting.
Okay. All right. You're right. Just mentioning that
I mean,
justifies
you
it.
could be. Matt could be a little. I think if Matt was standing, it might be a different.
I'll sit down.
No, you.
No, you don't have to.
Well, now I don't like how you're sitting down. I feel like you're not sitting down for you. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Do you feel? Does this feel good? Do you feel like you still have a certain amount of independence?
It doesn't feel as good.
You look like you're posing
Yeah,
for
you're
like
posing.
a cute like Gap commercial.
Yeah.
You're posing for Hollywood Forever, my friend's company.
Hollywood forever.
Cooper, why don't you believe in God?
I went to a Christian school from like preschool to 5th grade, and I don't know if this was the moment, but I feel like it had to be at least a huge turning point. I was in, I think, 5th grade by that time, or 3rd or 5th, and me and my friend David.
Definitely not
we
4th.
were definitely not 4th. Me and my friend David were outside, like playing with stuff.
Wait,
Sorry, there's like a
is that like an elote man?
the Lotia guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's the same guy that comes to me.
I hope so.
But we were outside and we were talking about prophets and stuff because we were learning about like people being like, "Oh, I talked to God," and then I was like, "What if those guys were just schizophrenic?" And I
Right.
was like, "Wouldn't that make sense?" And then we like, he was like, "I don't know," and I was like, "I guess we can ask the teacher." So then like we were like, Miss Havel, and she came over
She would not like that.
and she wrote her college thesis about me. She likes me because I was an angry child. She literally wrote a college thesis.
Are you being
about-
serious?
Yeah, because she was.
Did you read it?
No, but she just told me that. I was young when she told me, so I don't think she was like, "Here's a thesis." You know what I mean?
And she showed
But-
you a video of her uncle dying in a car crash.
She did, actually. But yeah, then she came over and I was like, "What if they're all schizophrenic?" And then she was like, "Well, that's why we have faith." And like, there's a lot of
That's a
discussions
really
you can
bad
have
answer.
because we talked about this in another podcast where it's like it's somewhat stupid to debate something that's not based in science with science. You know what I mean? Like, you're kind of on false pretense. But like, yeah, once she said you got to have faith, I was kind of like, oh, I can't. I was like, that doesn't work for me. So I think going
Right.
to Christian school kind of somewhat drove me away from Christianity because it's a place where you can ask questions,
Well,
but not
okay.
always a place where you can get answers.
But here's the real answer to that, which I think is interesting, is like throughout spiritual communities in the world, people with schizophrenia have often been treated as like shamans.
Yeah.
Or so one could make the argument, and I think the real argument to make if you were like a Christian person is to be like, well, maybe people with schizophrenia have a closer communion with God, or have like a different or more direct communion with God.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That would be, I mean, it would be an interesting argument. I don't.
Did you take apologetics in your school?
No, this was more of a like, I don't want to say mega church Christian, but it was like more like non-denominational.
So I went
kind
to
of, like, it wasn't like you where it's like we are warriors for Christ.
So I went to like a primarily evangelical, like preschool through 12th grade international Christian school, but I took an apologetics course there, and we would have to. It's so silly. It is the silliest thing. But apologetics is what it's like the what are you looking at? Okay. Apologetics is like the it's learning how to defend your faith in a logical way. So it's like you're developing arguments as if you're being held up in a court of law. It's like the art of that. So there will be guys who will be like the argument around it is so silly. It's like, of course we can prove that the Bible is definitely true because it was written over 5,000 years by 72 different authors over 15 different countries, and it still holds up today.
It's like when you're
where it's just like the
5'10", 185 pounds fighting out of Delphi.
But
Give it up.
The arguments, it's like
Jesus.
Even as a kid when I was hearing those, I would be like, you're naming facts, but like that doesn't make this true.
Right.
And they would always be like, well, no one called it out at the time, and it's lasted for thousands of years. I'm like, because people who called it out were killed.
Yeah, you guys had the Crusades and everything.
Or people just didn't give a shit. And actually people like to Christians' admission, it was questioned because there's always been like people they've considered heretics and stuff, right? Who are like,
I mean,
Christianity isn't real.
Christians get so mad now because they're aware of the argument of like the Council of Nicaea. Are you familiar with this? That's like where they decided like which books would be in the official Bible.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's literally a group of all men being like, we're going to leave out the Gospel of Judas. We're going to leave out the Gospel of Thomas because we don't like what those say, and we'll just have these books.
Are there any records of those? I mean, I
Yes,
guess there'd
I
have
have
to be to
them
know
here.
they exist. Oh, so are there full books so you can read them?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. They've been preserved like that.
And they're like the Gospel of Thomas does not claim that Jesus was God.
Right.
It was very much this idea that all of us are God, if you will. Like God is in all of us.
Yeah.
Right, and then there's the book of
Zelda the cat
Zelda's
just
on
jumped on the table, and it's very adorable.
There's a book of Jerry Garcia where it's like everything really comes down to just how slick your riffs are.
Yeah, the Book of Sugar Magnolia.
The Book of Sugar Magnolia.
Yeah.
The book of Jackie Brown.
Yeah, I think it's funny because with Christianity, it's like it all comes down. It's like you can have arguments about it for like hundreds of years, but at the end of the day, it's like, well, it's a leap of faith. Where it's like you can have all that information, but then there's just this little leap, and it's like that's. I think we all kind of make that decision.
I've talked to Christians who say, I thought it was very profound. A kid in my senior year, we were all like very firm believers, but he said something, and it rubbed me the wrong way because I was like a diehard Christian at the time. But he said, Christianity is a myth, and it's a myth that I choose to believe. Yeah. And to this day, I respect that kid because I'm like, oh, you're acknowledging that like. This may not be correct. This is a myth, but he's acknowledged, instead of being like, this is definitely true, and if you don't believe it, then you are stupid.
No,
it's
that's what Joseph Campbell says. Like, that was his big thing. He had this book, like The Hero with 1,000 Faces and The Power of Myth and stuff, but it was all about, like, he's deeply religious, but he believes in, like, archetypal stories and how archetypal stories can really, like, benefit people. And if you look at them as archetypal stories and not directly as like, this is definitely a real thing. In fact, I heard a case claim that that's how people saw gods in like Greek mythology.
That makes
they didn't actually
sense.
think like you could go to the top of Mount Olympus and see gods and stuff.
And that makes more sense because they had specific gods of like
or
of
that
war,
like there wasn't like
tangible.
an actual god of harvest that you're praying to, but it's sort of an idea of like, oh, I want to wish that this harvest goes
yeah, and
well.
the idea that I do think like things like wishing and non-denominational even prayer are good, and I don't like follow a religious system, but I often pray and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's
Do you pray, Cooper? Because I'm worried about you.
Not. I will sometimes talk to people who have recently died. and it's not really with the thought of like them listening, but it's sort of like you miss them, so you want to speak to them, and then also you just sort of like have a thought in your head of like, oh, I wonder if like in some way I'm like putting out this energy, and and maybe that's like,
giving you closure.
Yeah, like I remember like when our friend Richard killed himself, like the couple nights after that, I would kind of like speak to him because I did have a certain amount of guilt because he like texted me the week before he died, and he was like, "Hey man, I like just want to say I think you're really funny," and then like I was like, "Oh wow, I don't know if you're like joking, but thank you so much." Instead of just accepting the compliment.
Well,
so then after
you did accept the compliment.
Yeah, but I almost felt like it was like being like, you're usually sarcastic, But
that is true. Like you don't have to feel bad about that because if Matt texted me that, I would be like, oh, are you being sarcastic?
Yeah. I just wasn't all that close with him, but then he's a guy that I like became close, like very like kind of to the end. But yeah, anyway, I will like, I sometimes like to speak to people, but it's kind of like we're talking about. It's like the act of prayer is a nice thing. And it's like
not the soundboard Zelda.
Sorry, the cat is trying to DJ.
No, it's fine. She's really good at it. But it's almost like Satanists. If you like not like devil worshippers, but like Satanism, they consider themselves atheists who look at the devil as a example of the fact that you are God and that you have the power. So I think like you can take that in Christianity. Yeah, where you're like, you're not thinking that God is judging you, but you're thinking like, oh, there are just, somewhat, you can't really say objective, but somewhat almost objectively good things in the Bible that Jesus said of like, just treat other people how you want to be treated. So it's like, you can just take the good without thinking like, if I don't, I will burn. Because there's no, it's not, I don't think you're kind of in bad faith if you're doing things for
treat
the fear
others
of,
how you want to be treated. I don't know if I would want you to follow that rule.
But
because I feel like you don't want to be treated well.
Interesting.
In my heart of hearts, I do.
Okay, that's true. In your heart of hearts.
I think it was really good in the Bible when Jesus gave the 10 crack commandments.
The 10 crack commandments?
Yeah. He was the king of New York.
Like when we sell crack, you don't tell anyone we sell crack.
Matt's 10 crack commandments.
What are the 10 crack commandments? One is have fun.
Yeah, one is have fun. 2, everybody gets a trophy.
3, Tuesday night is ladies' night at Applebee's.
Tuesday night is ladies' night.
Tuesday night is ladies' night at the house where we make crack. Free crack for all the gals.
4, RuPaul is allowed to frack.
Yeah, who said RuPaul isn't?
Dude, I love our hip hop podcast.
5, Young Thug Innocent.
Oh my God, I was at the Comedy Store when I heard that and I almost didn't go up.
Shut up. There's no way you would like actually sabotage.
I was upset. I was really upset.
No, it's really upsetting. It's really upsetting. Young Thug and Gunna are in jail on fucking RICO charges.
Are you upset? Sorry, Young Thug. Yeah, RICO charges, which Dan explained to me.
There's a really great thing in straight culture, which is explaining RICO charges. I think my friend Will Sennett told me that, where he's like, when you feel the most self-actualized as a straight man is when you're describing to people what RICO charges are.
Yeah, because when you first hear it, you're watching a show and he's like, they got a fucking RICO.
They got a RICO charge, and you're like, I want to know what that, because they made it sound. Here's the thing about RICO is they were really smart with that because it's the word for rich, correct? Like I think RICO is RICO means rich, and it's also a cool word in general.
I thought it was like an acronym or something.
How do you spell
it?
it?
It is an acronym. RICO, I believe.
Oh, RICO.
RICO nasty.
Or it could be RECO.
Is that?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure that's where it stems from.
Lewis, what is is it RICO or RECO? But basically, correct me if I'm wrong, Lewis, but it's basically like a law that says if you're a part of like a criminal organization or an organization which commits a crime, you as part of that organization are also implied within the crimes that the organization commits. So if I'm in like a group of people and we're all doing crime, if one of my friends robs a bank and they catch them, I can be charged with that bank robbery as part of the organization.
That's their way of tearing down organized crime and cartel's ability to like separate blame to where it's like, well, the boss, you can never get him in trouble because he never killed anybody. But it's like, but those people never would have died if he didn't.
I was telling.
But then it's like, don't put Gunna in prison. Like Gunna's not.
Stop putting Gunna.
He's not a
in
fucking
prison.
warlord.
His
like
name is literally Gun. He should be in
What
prison.
fucking side are you on?
He has Ghana in his
Oh,
name.
he has a really fun real name.
Ghana.
No, it's like Sergio Laundry or something like that.
What were you gonna say? Was there a
Prison.
better definition of RICO?
No, you got it, but it just RICO stands for Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Sergio Giovanni Kitchens.
His last name is Kitchens?
Kitchens.
Sergio Kitch. That's a good name.
That's a good name.
Also, I think RICO
Sergio
charges are partly also it helps like making people snitch
Yeah,
because you offer deals to
Well,
everybody. And
what-
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
What it really does, well, it's not even that. It's just that if you can get other people in the organization implied, one of them, the chances of one of them
flipping
is much higher.
I guess the larger picture of why RICO charges or that law is quite fucked up is that the police force is like the largest
Yeah, of course. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
criminal organization.
And there's literal criminal organizations within police forces like
and
that.
in corporate America where it's like you
Right.
made like a dumb rule so that us like sort of obvious criminals, blue collar criminals are gonna
Yeah.
get locked up while you assholes.
Not even necessarily blue collar, but it is. Yeah, but no, you are right. Not, but I don't think is blue collar criminal because I know white collar criminal, but I don't know if people use the
feel-
term blue
You know,
collar
I was
criminal.
questioning myself as I said
petty
it, but I
theft.
was saying these people aren't in corporate offices. It's like all behind doors. Like it's like all
Yeah.
like you're hustlers. You're selling drugs. Like it's not like a professional. You know, Wall Street. That's like a on paper job.
Oh, of
and
course.
you're committing crime, so it's a white collar crime.
Famously, only one person got arrested during the 2008 financial crisis. Only like one guy
So
did jail time.
Renee Zellweger.
You know what's
Renee Zellweger, because they were like, all right,
sucked in
someone's
blue,
got to
bro.
go down for this. They got to be someone everyone knows.
Yeah.
So they'll shut up about it.
Yeah.
So they'll shut up about the whole bundling fucking.
That is insane. That only one person.
Yeah, one person went to jail.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm mad. Now you got to let Young Thug go.
It's
Thank
so
you.
funny.
Just keep Gunna in
how,
there.
Like the people. Who
No, not Sergio.
Sergio Kitch.
Giovanni Kitchen.
I was going to say, sorry, last thing is that Dan and I think that it's probably wise if you are not a part of the podcast because
Right.
if you kill someone, we could be indicted.
Yeah, RICO is also enacted on groups of podcasters.
Yeah.
We don't make any money yet.
Yeah,
but
but
we're
that's
associated with you, and if you kill someone,
Right.
then
They might take down all the Cissy boys.
No,
Yeah.
we could beat this case.
What if would you want to see Zelda, my cat, behind bars?
We could beat this case.
Oh, how cute!
That would she would actually look so cute in a little prison uniform.
Prison
I just want to. It is funny,
Her
like
bag
the,
of like things that like she has to leave behind.
a little
like-
hat. A little hat.
It's funny, like the people who have been woke the whole time. Like I remember, like 6 years ago, like before, like any, like people are saying like ACAB or anything, or white people I'm talking about. We're saying
sure.
like ACAB.
Right.
I met this dude named Scotty who was like a white dude from like a poorish family, and they were like part of an illegal biker gang. And I remember like we were smoking weed, and then Scotty was like, "The LAPD is a gang."
Right.
And he was like, "They're the biggest fucking gang in LA. They're a gang." And I was like, "Oh, like they're like a gang?" He's like, "Nah, they're a gang."
Right.
And I remember at the time I was like, "Oh, like I kind of agree with you," but and then like just 5 years later I was like, "Dude, Scotty."
No,
was
it
like,
really- the
like
whole-
Scotty was so right.
The whole ACAB thing really did show people that crust punks were a little ahead of their time on certain political opinions.
yeah.
On
Yeah.
certain political opinions.
Richard, our friend who killed himself, it's interesting. He died a few days before. I think he died on the same day that George Floyd died.
Yeah.
And then it was a few days later where the riots started happening in LA.
Yeah.
So, but
Wow.
Richard, he hated the cops, and like we had just been at the beach a few days before that, and
Jesus
oh
fucking
shit! I forgot that you don't like that.
It's just a bad
I literally
look.
was sorry.
I was
Okay.
looking at your
I
hand.
keep grabbing
was
my
like,
cat by the place where the mom grabs it, and people think it's abuse.
I
but,
I
like,
know it's fine,
not.
but
I
aesthetically,
didn't even think about it. He was going to interfere with the soundboard. Anyways, we were in a.
part out.
We don't have to cut
It was
it.
like your hand on a trigger. I was literally whispering, "Don't do it."
I didn't
and
know
I
what
just
you were.
saw you.
I thought he
saw
was
your,
saying, "Don't talk about Richard
no, no, no.
and the cops."
No, no, no. I just saw your grip. I
And
just
then
saw
I
your
saw
grip,
Dan
and
just
I was
sort
like,
of die
he's
in real
scruffing.
time.
"We'll keep it in."
The story sucks now, but basically we were in a situation where there could have been cops involved, and we were like, it's fine, we'll be fine. And Richard was like, no, I fucking hate the police, and was like going on this huge rant about it. And I was like, Jesus, why does this guy hate the police? Cut to a week later, we're all riding, and I'm like, wait, I hate the police too.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, it was a huge, like, you know, blowing the can off of like, people of color have like known this forever. And
Right.
then me as like a dumb white idiot who's never really been in serious trouble has been like, oh, okay, this is why everyone has always hated the police.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not racist.
And that's why Matt is absolved.
Hi, George. My cat just pumped up, and I'm not going to pick him up by that area.
I think it's fine to pick it up. I really do, but whenever I
I
see
know
it, I'm
this
just
Well,
is
I just
fine.
don't know why you don't pick it up with both hands.
By both hands by the neck.
so you won't
Is that
leave
the only
neck.
way you know how to
it's
move
just
a
like
cat?
that part they can't feel it, so they're fine to be picked up.
I
that
think
way.
that's true when
Yeah.
they're kittens. I don't know if that carries over into adulthood. What I'm saying is I don't know.
Okay, do you want to Google it?
And I don't think you're guaranteeing me right now.
But like George, I do it to him. I'll literally pick him up like that and put him on my lap, and he'll just sit on my lap. If it was painful, he would have been like, "What the fuck?" and like run. You know what I mean? Like I do it all the time.
He is a scaredy cat.
We're
he's a scaredy
googling
cat.
right now if when you pick up the cat by the skin behind the neck, is it okay?
Unnecessary and potentially painful.
Okay, how dated was that article?
2012.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago.
I-
It's gotten
Right.
better now.
That's bad news.
All right,
Right.
well, I'm never doing it again.
It's not what I wanted
But
to hear.
George, objectively, you know, every cat's different. And how many cats did they ask for that study?
That is the funniest answer of, well, every cat's different.
Right.
It's like, yeah, well, I guess.
this is also one of those things where I know that pet owners are very touchy when it comes to
Really bad.
Yeah, when it comes to talking about their animal. I recently made a friend cry by telling them that I hated their dog.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm guessing in your defense, their dog is a huge piece of shit.
Well, what in my defense, the dog. I didn't like the way the dog was acting towards my friend, and that's what incited me to say that.
the dog has a gun to your friend's
Yeah,
head
yeah.
and is like fucking
But I
him.
was like, yeah, calling my friend a bitch or whatever. But yeah,
Like, this is out
So
of hand.
their dog like fucks him up?
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. It's just like it's like a mood thing, and there's been like I won't get into it or whatever, but yeah. And I just said in a moment of just like not filtering myself, I was just like, I hate that dog,
Yeah.
and yeah, they cry, which I understand because it is a deep emotional connection that you have to that, and it's like you're spending every day with that animal. You're waking up and the animal's there, and
Yeah.
I was definitely not being tactful, and it was not a good.
You're having sex with the animal.
I was having behind closed doors.
The animal makes you meals.
I think it's kind of funny to hate your friend's animal.
Yeah, I think so. No, I think so too. But it's funny on our end. But when it's your animal, it's like that's part of their family.
People
and they
take
don't-
it very, very
Yeah.
personally.
Would it be
Very
like funny though if I like just didn't like George?
No one has ever had that opinion.
No.
so I don't like to talk about.
And I love him. But if I
I like
just
to stay in reality.
If I was just like, ugh,
on this podcast, I like to stay grounded.
okay, because that would never happen.
My cats have been known to turn cat haters into cat lovers, and that's a fact.
It's so personal.
Have
too.
See,
been
look how
It's
personal
so
I
personal
got, right?
to you, yeah.
Someone
Have
who's
been
so
known.
logical just lost.
Right, so incredibly.
I
grounded.
had a roommate and I did not get along with their animal, and it would do behavior that was different when it was with me than when it was with them. It would act like a piece of shit when it was with them
Yeah, that
because
makes
it was
sense.
like
Right.
defensive and all this stuff. And I would bring that up and say, hey, like I live in the same space as you. This really bothers me. And every time that person would shut down, and it would literally be like such a kind person, and then they would be like, please never talk
Yeah.
about my animal to, like as if I had like called
Right.
their kid like a disgrace to humanity.
No, my friend
or
had said
whatever.
like this is coming out as sadness, but I think it could have just as easily come out as anger because of like
Yeah.
what you just said about my dog. But it's also one of those things where I think people who own animals have to understand if they have an animal that is incredible, like. If we're friends before the animal comes into the picture, and I'm not saying this was the case with this dog, but I have had it with friends before, and like in Boston and stuff, where I would go over to their house and their dog would like bark like crazy, and they'd be like, oh yeah, you have to wait outside for a second while I put the dog in this room. And it's like, okay, but you have to also appreciate the fact that in my head I'm like, oh, that dog that you love is trying to kill me or would love to kill me, and that's why you're putting it in a separate room.
Oh,
Sometimes the babies get so
aggressive.
excited though.
Yeah,
That was the problem with my dog Bella. She was a lab, and she would just. They were like, well, once she gets over a year, she'll calm down. And it was like, once she gets spayed, she'll calm down, and she just never calmed down. But she would like never. She was never aggressive with anyone. But when people came in, she would like, ah! And then she would freak out. And she would like jump on them, and she was a big dog that didn't know her size.
I'm
but
fine
we
with
were
that.
honest about it, where we were like, we'll just put her in the other room.
But if it's biting and
Oh,
shit,
yeah.
that's where I'm like, well, this animal actually has a problem.
Yeah,
It's
if you have
it's very frustrating if the person in their repertoire of they're capable of training their dog to behave the correct way,
Maybe.
or a socially acceptable way, and they refuse to do that.
But I
That's
think-
really annoying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if that is the case,
If you
which is
refuse
not
to
always
like
the case.
dogs enjoy being owned, like they're subs by nature. Like they like being told what to do. They like having a job, like telling them to sit and then like get a treat instead of just giving them a treat. Like that's fun for them because they're like, oh,
I think that's what you're like. I like dogs who are either like that or just neutral. But when a dog acts like directly against that, I get it. And it's not something where I'm like, fuck this dog or whatever. But it is a part of my head where I'm like, well, I'm not gonna be. I don't have to like this animal. It's not mine.
yeah, you don't even have a job.
But also that dog is acting out because it's frustrated with its owner for not taking.
But don't you think? But it's a rescue too, so it could also be ingrained like bad shit from the past.
Yeah, it was like raped and stuff.
Hurt people hurt people.
Hurt dogs hurt people.
Hurt dogs hurt people. Yeah.
Word. That's so true.
But
That is true. Have you seen that fucking video of like this one woman is like walking a pit bull, and then they run into a small dog, and the pit bull immediately starts trying to kill the small dog.
Right.
And so the person like picks up their dog, but then like the woman with the pit bull can't control her own dog. so she's falling over. And she's also not trying. No, it doesn't end bad. The dog doesn't get killed. Don't worry. But like she's also not doing like she's doing that thing that some terrible dog owners do, where it's like really what she should have done is like almost like tackled her dog or like immediately grabbed his neck and tried to pull him. But she's just sort of like, stop. Stop.
Right.
And it's
right.
like that dog was so close to being
No, you know
mauled.
what's extra fucked up about that I've been thinking lately is like if you own a pit bull, it's unfortunate that you're put in this situation, but it's like I don't think pit bulls are necessarily like aggressive by nature. I think recently there was like an article that I only skimmed over that said dogs don't really like people will put all this personality type onto breeds.
They get a bad rap.
Which doesn't necessarily translate as much as people thought it did, and especially pit bulls. Like pit bulls specifically get a really bad rap that they don't deserve.
They're literally known for being good with babies.
But the thing is, and the issue is, if you're a pit bull owner and you're doing a bad job, people are going to see that pit bull, and it's going to reinforce their idea that pit bulls suck. So it sucks that pit bull owners are put under that level of pressure. But it does also make sense if you are a pit bull owner to be maybe a little bit extra cautious, not just for your dog, but because like exclusion of pit bulls from certain properties and like apartment buildings and stuff. Because some apartment buildings, I don't know if you can still do it, but they at least used to ban pit bulls, and it was a race thing because black people predominantly owned pit bulls.
Yeah.
So.
They're like, you can't have a pit bull or baggy
isn't that fucked up?
pants.
So they would use that as a reason to be like, well, you can't live here, not because of you, but because of your pit bull.
That's a huge part of it. And Rottweilers are aggressive. That's a German dog.
But if you,
owned by white people usually.
But if you have a pit bull and it's like poorly treated, people are going to use that and then associate pit bulls with violence, and then that cycle just continues. Yeah,
and then it's like you can get your dog killed for no reason.
Yeah.
Where it's like if you would have trained your dog, it wouldn't have done that thing that then, animal whatever had to be like, well, this dog has to die now.
Right.
And it's like, you just, I don't know. It's fucking ridiculous. It's like, it's also just crazy because it's like, if you have a dog that like my dog Bella was like she would kind of like drag us, but she wasn't like you could pull her back and like she was never aggressive, so it wasn't. But if you have a dog that like could become super aggressive with another dog and it's stronger than you, it's like you got to train it or you can't walk it, and you can't not walk it because it's a big dog. It needs to be walked, but it's like you're literally just walking out with like, here's a weapon I can't control, and you're like, hope he doesn't try and kill something.
Did I tell you that one time how because I was stupid around this dog, got my girlfriend like pulled by the leash and she like fell down and really hurt herself.
Yeah, I remember. What
time.
happened?
So there was this basket. So she had this like pretty big dog, especially for her. She was tiny and she had this pretty big dog. And we were just going for a walk. And I just started like dribbling this basketball. And she was like, oh, I don't think you should do that. And I kept dribbling. And I was like, oh, it's because the dog tried to get the basketball. And I was like, I did dribble it a little bit longer than when she said, I think you should stop. Because I was like, oh, look, the dog's having fun with the ball, right? And then we were done. And I was like, oh, see that? I literally said this. I go, oh, see, the dog was fine. And then I threw the basketball.
Oh, no.
You threw it.
I threw the basketball to the side. And the dog, like, lifted her off the ground.
Yeah.
And it was really bad.
Did she get fucked up? Like, scraped knees?
No,
and shit, or-
yeah, like scraped knees, scraped elbows.
She's not alive.
No, she is.
She died?
She's living a good life.
She fell into a pit?
And I mean, obviously, I felt so horrible, and I was like, I'm so sorry. This is like directly because I didn't listen to you, and you got fucked up, and it's like my fault. And people at the dog park were looking and stuff. It sucked.
Was this recent?
No, this was like years ago.
And being judged by dog owners.
Yeah, being judged by dog owners. You hate that. Fucking Studio City dog owners.
Do people ever bring cats to dog parks? That just seems so dumb, but I just feel like a person would.
Yeah. Someone in LA would do that.
Right?
Yeah.
And people just be
Being like, oh no, my cat's like a dog, and the cat's getting fucked up.
Yeah, it just dies.
Funny enough.
Oh, okay. I guess it's not like a dog.
Last night, like I got home from like a coworker event or whatever, and my neighbor just got a dog named Luna. It's really cute. It's like a small puppy, but she has a black cat as well, which she also just adopted, and they play nonstop together.
Yeah.
And the dog will like chase the cat, and the cat loves it, and she'll like it was. I've never seen anything like that compatible where the cat was literally on par with the dog of playing, like chasing, like the cat was acting like a dog.
Yeah.
cute.
Twist to the story is that on like
The cat joined a gang.
yeah,
Rico.
the cat is the one who spray painted LML on my walls. Yeah. The twist of the story is that there's an app in my neighborhood where we all like post, like someone will be like, hey, I'm getting rid of this, or like recently there's been this woman who was like, hey, I don't know where my black cat is. I haven't seen anywhere. I'm pretty sure my next door neighbor's new cat that they got a few days ago is this other person's missing cat.
That happens all the time. There's always this, especially in cities, like rescuing animals has become such a big thing that a lot of the times there'll be like neighborhood animals or like outdoor cats, and people will take them and rescue them and like bring them inside.
Because she said it's not tagged and like
That
there's no
happens,
collar,
yeah.
But I'm like literally, it's hard to tell because it's a black cat.
Yeah.
They look quite similar, but it's a slimmer build, just like the one in the picture. I don't know.
Fucking
I'm trying to rock the boat.
I had a cat when I was younger, and it came back with a collar one day, and then eventually it just didn't come back. But my aunt, there's this like these really cute. Sorry,
Are you gonna go back to that, or is that story done?
I was just saying the cat had another family, and then it didn't come back, and I think it just either died or
You
lived
owned
with
a
that family.
cat, and then it came back to you one day and had a collar, meaning someone else took it in and gave it a
It
collar.
was an outside cat, and it would just go do its thing, and then we realized like, oh, you just have another family.
Yeah, that's so.
It was
I
so
love
funny.
cats for that.
Yeah, but my aunt, there's like this family of black cats outside, and there's like like she lives near like a little creek where there's like things that would kill cats, So she like brought them in and rescued them, and then she went out of town and she was like, "Oh, can you feed my cats?" And they like lived in the garage and would all hide from me whenever I came in. And if you like were to try and pick one up, it would just maul you,
Right.
Because it was a completely like wild cat. And anyway, I like accidentally cracked the garage door for like 3 seconds, and then like one got out. I
Hey.
eventually lost like almost all the cats.
That was never.
and
their
I felt
cat.
so bad because I was like, damn, like these
Were they
cats mean.
spayed or neutered or whatever?
I think she was in the process of doing
Oh,
that.
no,
kind of
Wait,
thing.
so
all
not
of
re-
them? Wait, one went out, but then all of them went out?
Like I lost one or two, and then there was like another escape, and it was like because it was just kind of thing where
Yeah, this is
hate
how a
this
guilty
story.
person describes.
no, I'm guilty. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah,
I'm guilty.
yeah.
But I felt so bad. But then also in my head, as I was like,
And then I don't even know. What
I was like,
happened.
Did they come back?
no, because they didn't want to live there. They wanted to be wild, and I felt bad. She was like, oh, they're gonna get killed, and I was like, you gotta let them get killed.
Well, no.
Well, it's sad if they didn't return because that's what I'm wondering about this cat. Cats are very intelligent and like they know where home is.
Right.
Like George has gone for like a week. Like one time he left for a week because I used to let him go outside. Which
He went to Fire Island.
exactly. And I didn't want to take pictures because it was COVID and
Yeah. Well, he was vaccinated.
hashtag gays over COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do your thing. It's fine to talk about it now. But
Did he get the Meowderna?
why am
Cooper, you didn't laugh at that joke.
He got the Pfizer. Pfizer?
Pfizer's not close
Pfizer?
enough to
No, it's not good.
whiskers. There's just.
You got the Johnson and Johnson.
I guess I just kind of hate that. That's kind of the most we can do with that.
But my point was that if a cat like wants to be at your home, it'll return.
One of them did. One of them was like, oh, I can get food here. But then there was like the boy was like, oh, I'll come here. I get food. But then the mom was like, fuck this. Like she fucking hated it.
I often
like,
find myself in battles of wits with cats.
all right.
Often with your girlfriend's cat.
Anyone's cats.
What do you mean wit?
You're both so intelligent that it's kind of hard to like.
Yeah, I
along.
feel as though sometimes I have where other people will sort of ignore cats' lack of social graces. I will have moments of mental combat, where a cat will disrespect me, and then we'll have sort of a standoff, a tete-a-tete of minds.
How does that play out? What does that
Like,
mean?
let's say, his cat Greta.
You can't say the cat's name on the podcast.
Oh, I can't say
Are you
Greta.
saying
Beep
the-
Greta.
Are you saying the girlfriend's name on the podcast?
Oh, I didn't mean to say either of them.
God
But
damn it.
anyway, my girlfriend's cat, Greta, which I will say the cat's name because honestly, the cat and I have a mutual respect as co-combatants, if you will,
Okay.
members of opposite warring factions.
She looks at you and she's like, "You won't be here for long."
Well, yeah,
She
looks
meows
at-
to you about how she's better.
I
than you.
believe this is temporary. This arrangement
Yeah.
of yours is temporary. No,
She's a Southern woman.
but
This cat.
like it'll do something that I take as disrespectful, like when I call it over simply to pet it. After I've fed it, after I've given it life,
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, maybe quid pro quo, I get to rub your tummy a little
Yeah,
bit.
but you know cats don't act like that.
Well, here's the thing: is I think they can, but when the cat doesn't come over, what I'll do is when it comes over to me to try to get scratched, when it wants to, I'll go no. This is a relationship where there's back and forth.
That's how you make. Well, that's very funny because you definitely can't teach that to a cat. But that is how you make
you
cats.
can't. Hey,
But that's
you can't.
okay. I'm not gonna stop your grind. But that's how you make cats like you. Like when you meet a cat, like you're supposed to like not pay attention to them.
Yeah,
And
that's
there's like a
correct.
process where
It's
like
like
they come
women.
up to you and then you like reciprocate a little, but you don't smother them.
No.
And then they'll like come back.
Take back
and-
what you just said.
Women like it when you don't acknowledge that they
It's
exist.
not true.
Yeah, that's why I'm really a ladies' man.
That's not why you're a
If I walk into a room
you're a
with
ladies
a-
man because you're 6'3" and you have a big dad bod.
Thank you. I like hearing that.
Are you
from-
6'3"?
I am. What am I like? 192 centimeters, which is like just under 6'3".
Dude, why are you answering in centimeters?
Some
I
of
like
us
that.
grew up in internationally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So all that-
Also, centimeters makes way more sense. It's a lot more precise.
Centimeters make way more sense. Centimeters. Sorry, we don't make sense. We were too busy winning World War II. Thank you.
The Indonesians got independence from the Dutch during World War II, and the Dutch all had
You're welcome.
rifles.
You're welcome.
And
You're
the Indonesians pride themselves because they won with sharpened bamboo sticks.
And the support of America.
And the support of
I don't know if that's
No,
true.
probably not.
No, it was guerrilla
Probably
warfare, and they literally killed them with like sharpened bamboo. And these losers, like these 7'8" losers.
Dutch losers.
Why did I say in feet and inches instead of centimeters?
Ooh, interesting.
These 2.3
What?
metered
What?
Hollanders, Dutch boys, were walking around like losers with rifles and getting killed.
You can't beat guerrilla warfare.
Well, it's been done before.
Name three
It's very,
times.
it's very
that
hard
been
to
done
beat.
before.
That's why we
Three
lost Vietnam.
Outside of Boston.
What do you mean outside of Boston?
name 3 instances where guerrilla warfare has lost. You can't, not including Boston.
I mean, there's been coups throughout centuries where, like,
I'm kidding.
smaller
Literally, like
factions,
Hawaii,
all the time.
like,
yeah,
and pretty much everything America's that's done bad. is,
Sierra
like,
Leone. That
being like,
happened.
people are like, we'll win because we're locals, and America's like, here's a fucking atomic bomb,
Right.
bitch.
Except for Vietnam.
Vietnam is still going on today.
We got slaughtered over there. Did not do well because of guerrilla warfare.
All I know is we won World War II. You know what I mean?
Yes, the long-term mental
We
effects
won.
that has had on a generation, we won.
We won World War II, and by that,
Oh, World War II, I was thinking about Vietnam.
and by that I mean, if you completely ignore any other country that actually did most of the work there, we won it.
Which I will.
Which we both will.
Which I
Which
will.
we both will.
Which I will.
Yeah.
No
saving-
Russians died in that war. Did you know that?
Let's
a
not
single
say
one.
that on the podcast.
Okay.
Why?
Then I ain't gonna say it.
I believe 10 million.
Yeah,
Um,
somewhere in that range.
if it wasn't for, do you know who Ryan is?
Gosling.
No, Private Ryan.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he was saved, right?
So some of my friends, they had to go save Private Ryan.
Like those are your friends.
Yeah, one of them is the head of the largest pedophile ring in America. His name is Tom Hanks,
Whoa.
and he did not make it.
Oh,
out
so we can
alive.
say that on the podcast.
I didn't say that he could say that on the podcast.
So we
Yeah,
can say
he's
that.
in charge of.
But I can't discredit millions
Him
of
and
deaths.
Chrissy Teigen are obsessed with
Adrenochrome.
Yeah, they're obsessed with keeping the kids alive as they drain the blood out of them because they want the fear in their blood and then drinking it to maintain their youth.
These
But-
statements are not the official statements of
But the
Cissy
thing
Boys
is, Tom
podcast.
Hanks, he had so much adrenochrome, so he was like, I can save Private Ryan. And then when he went there, Vin Diesel died, and so did Tom Hanks.
Because he didn't have enough.
Is Vin Diesel in Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah.
What do you mean in? He was helping save Private Ryan. I don't know what you
Yeah,
mean
yeah.
in.
He was one of the brave men who helped save Private
Vin
Ryan.
Diesel did help save, but he died first.
As
of the
depicted in a
men.
beautiful documentary.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've just been really busy making.
Yeah,
blues
there was
with my
that
brother.
documentary
Yeah.
called Saving
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that doc about the two brothers and they make blues?
Whoa. No, wait, maybe I did.
Yeah, it's really good. It's these two guys, Joliet Jake and
Two brothers who make.
wow, I can't remember Dan
Blues.
Aykroyd's name.
That's two at Dan
that's
Aykroyd,
fucked
yeah.
up.
Are you talking about Dumb and Dumber?
Yes.
Okay. That's a really good doc.
Dan Aykroyd eats plain white toast in that movie,
Yeah.
and I tried to eat plain white toast after that.
It's nice.
It's
You could be like Dan
It's
Aykroyd.
just bread.
Well, it is. It's essentially.
I'd rather just eat baguette with some olive oil.
You know what I've realized is in the gay straight pan, I tend to go last every time.
Okay, you
Yeah,
can go first.
'cause that's-
because you're usually the one who
fair.
initiates it. Where you're like, Matt, what's something
That is
gay
true.
you did?
Wait, is that abrasive when I do that?
No.
I guess it's just. Is it abrasive? No,
Is it abrasive?
No, it's just you being assertive about. It's a very. That's what you did straight that week was initiating gay.
You know
straight
what?
pan.
That is what I did straight. Is I asserted and spoke over two people of queerness.
You don't know
about
what
to say
I've
that.
been
Yeah.
through.
I don't.
Also, can I just say this? On the last episode, Cooper was going to make a joke where he was going to call me a faggot. And then he said, I can't believe I almost said that. And I was like, Cooper, you literally have sex with men. You're allowed to call me a faggot. And he was like, I don't think I've earned the right to call you a faggot.
I'm gonna stay out of this.
Now
I mean,
this
I'm not a great barometer because I don't care if anyone calls me a faggot. But I will say, if you're having sex with men, I don't think people who also have sex with men would get mad at you for using the word faggot.
you know
Like at
this,
that point, it's a term of endearment.
this sounds like a good listener poll.
Can Cooper
The
say,
outcomes of the poll will
There
not
is no-
affect my
Oh,
use
well,
of the
you know
word.
what's going to happen is people are going to say, well, technically no one should use that word as it is derogatory.
Oh, don't come with that. Let's
But
not.
Dan, don't you think that Cooper should be allowed to say faggot?
I think that a lot of people should be allowed to do a lot of things, and then some people should not be allowed to do some things.
What are you, Robert? What is
No,
this?
I mean, I don't know because Yeah, I suppose. I don't know what the
You want to be weird.
Yeah, the way-
you've had a boyfriend.
The way I look at it though is like
You're a faggot.
I guess if we're talking about
You're literally a faggot. That's what it comes down to.
because if we're talking about
You're a faggot,
if we're
so
talking
you can
about
say faggot.
a word can be used by a group of people where that word has been used to disenfranchise them, right? Like that's the idea.
yeah, that's the
right?
thing. That hasn't been used
So-
against me.
No, not yet. But I'm saying, as a whole, in the usage of that word, it would be.
Yes,
you know what
as
I
a
mean?
whole, if
Yeah.
people who are unaccepting of gay sex learn that you had a boyfriend, you could definitely be called a faggot.
I never had a boyfriend.
I thought you dated that person. I don't know if you want me to name them.
No, I mean we would.
You just
We
dated.
would
You
hook
weren't
up, and I like them, and I
boyfriends.
think
Okay.
that I like a boyfriend.
Oh,
What?
and that's Pan for the week,
And that's Pan.
like boyfriend.
The thing that I did that was gay was telling my faggot friend that he could use the word
That
faggot.
is very
It's
good.
very gay.
Um,
And the straight thing that Dan did was use it against somebody.
yeah.
To hurt
Use
them.
Well,
what?
no, I didn't do that.
Oh. I don't think he did.
No, obviously you didn't. I love that you thought about it. We're like,
You
I
had to
don't-
consider.
I don't
I don't
think
know, I
Dan
miss a lot,
called
you know?
someone a slur. I don't.
Please subscribe to the YouTube if you like this content, or if you want to see Cooper's nipples.
This is actually a very essential episode for YouTube viewing because of the tall content
Tall
and
content.
the cat content.
Yeah.
Nipple. I almost said Nipple is showing his Cooper right now.
Yep.
Nipple has two Coopers. He's exposing one. They're both sunburned and concaved.
We love you
The
guys.
visual experience is great.
Thank you for listening. Watch on YouTube. Bye bye.
Bye.